Hey guys, this is Fran and welcome to another video. For this video, I am going to do a tutorial on how I use Procreate. And this video was actually requested by Dragmeyer, who recently got Procreate and wants to learn how to use it and asked me to make a tutorial. But I am not, and I cannot stress this enough, I am not that great at using Procreate. I only use it how I use it. I don't know. I'm not that great. I don't know all the features. I don't use all the features, so there's that. I do use it, and I think I could probably show people how to use it the way I do. So if there is anything wrong with how I use Procreate, I'm so sorry. I taught myself how to use Procreate. So yeah. Okay. We're gonna first start with the sketching. So we've got these brushes right up here. So I usually use the sketching under the category sketching. I use the 6B right there, and I like it because it actually looks like a pencil. I tend to use the biggest one depending on the complexity of the sketch, I guess. So anyway, for this drawing, I'm just going to draw a set of eyes, and we're going to try and render it several ways. And throughout it, I'm going to attempt to explain using how to use the selection tools, move tools, layers, and etc. At least the way I know how to use them. Like I said, there are many ways to use Procreate, and mine is just one of many. So yeah, let me just sketch these eyes and I will come right back. Okay, so for the sake of time, I'm only going to draw one eye. There it is. It's a very simple, unrefined eye. And I did this on purpose because we're going to use several of the Procreate features to try and get the eye to be more proportionate, the eyebrow more the way I want it to look. Yeah. So we're going to go up here first to this magic wand, and we're going to use one of my favorite features from Procreate, which is liquify, which is down here. And for liquify, we've got several options. We've got push, twirl right, twirl left, pinch, expand, crystals, edge, reconstruct, and then adjust and reset. Reset is if you want to obviously reset what you've done. And size is the size for the brush, which depending on the size of your drawing, you're gonna set that. I like max pressure, distortion 0, and momentum 0. Momentum does this where you go like here and do this, and it will carry the stroke past past the place where you stroked. I don't know how to explain that, but I guess it's good for water effect or something like that. I guess I can show you what all these other things do. Deconstruct. There, that's what it does. I don't know what deconstruct does. I gotta be honest with you. Edge, don't know what that does either. I guess it shrinks stuff. I don't know what's going on here. I have no idea. That's edge. Crystals. It does this weird thing to the drawing. I guess it's kind of cool. Expand. It thickens stuff. So I mean, there's probably some really good uses for that. Pinch does the opposite. It pinches stuff in or shrinks them. And then twirl left. That's what that does. And you guessed it, twirl right does the same but the opposite direction. So the one that I like to use is actually push. So I'm going to use push. And push I use to help me correct proportions sometimes and just get the drawing the way I want it to look. So, if you want your cursor to show up, I would suggest going up here to the wrench. Then we're going to go to preferences or prefs. And then from there, we're going to go here to brush cursor right here. So you want that on. To change the interface, Here is light and dark. I like it dark. Project canvas is when you are streaming. So, or when you've got the iPad connected to another screen, it will project, not project. It will project your canvas, and see, right now you can't see that I'm zooming in. You can only see what I draw on, which is cool, but for this purpose, I'd like you guys to be able to see, everything. So yeah, then if you're right-handed, left-handed, and all this other stuff, I don't know. I don't use it. Okay, so we're gonna go to liquify and see how it moves the stuff that I've drawn in. So I'm just gonna tug and stretch and squeeze the eyeball into a better shape, and like throughout the whole thing, make sure to change the brush size for the liquify tool, just because sometimes you don't want to move the whole thing, you just want to move this one line like this right now. So yeah, that is okay for the eye, I guess. And then we're going to go over here to this thing here, and that's the select tool. You do the automatic, obviously, for an automatic selection. You do freehand if you want to get something in specific. But you saw what happened right there. It's because I have color fill right down here. So I'm turning color fill off because I don't want it to fill in the color. So what I want to do is select the eyebrow, and then to move it, you go up here to the arrow, and now you're able to move whatever you selected. So I want to move the eyebrow closer, and this green dot right here, that is if you want to rotate the selection. So I do want to rotate it just a little bit, and maybe if you go down here to the options in selection, we've got freeform, which will let you reshape the eyebrow and squeeze and pull and just distort it in all these different ways. Or we've got uniform, which will effectively just let you enlarge or shrink it without necessarily distorting the image, which is cool. Distort is basically like freeform, except that now it adds kind of like a dimension to it. So you could probably use this to make grids for perspective or help you achieve perspective in some of your drawings. I haven't used it as much. And then we've got warp, which also turns your drawing into some sort of like 3D, what's the word? I don't know, just some sort of 3D layer. All right. So I'm going to go to uniform, go down. Oh, sorry. I'm going to go to uniform and bring this down there and do that. And that is what I like. So now I've got two options. I could go to layer and then tap on that and kind of flick to the left and duplicate. Boop. So now the layers are duplicated. And then I go up here to the arrow, and then I'm going to click or tap on flip horizontal. Boop, there it is. And still staying in this mode, I'm going to now move the eye this way. Okay, so now we've got a set of eyes. Okay, so there are our eyes now, and this is the sketch for what we are about to do. So first, what I want to do here is I want to merge these two layers together. So what you can do is tap on it and put merge down. That works. Or you can actually just pinch the two layers like that and it will merge them as well. Oh, also undo is tapping the screen with 2 fingers. Redo is tapping the fingers with the screen with 3 fingers. So yeah. Okay, so now that we have our sketch, I'd like to add another layer. Oops, just one. Just another layer. And then we're going to go here to our sketch and actually bring, what am I doing? And actually bring down the opacity of the layer, which, it's been a while, guys. It's been a while. Okay, so to bring down the opacity, we're going to click on N with the layer. And we've got opacity. So bring it down to an opacity that you'd like, that you're able to see. And here are all the layer blending modes, kind of like darken, multiply, darker, blah, 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 blah. If you know how to use digital programs, you probably know how to use. I don't use these as much except for multiply. So, have at it. This is not the tutorial that you're going to learn how to use those. So anyway, so now I want to change my ink to black because we're going to ink. And see, we've got an inking option for the brushes right here. I'd like to use, which one is it? The Studio Pen, right there. And you can actually go in there and change a bunch of settings to make it more stable and stuff. But I like the hand-drawn look of my drawings. So I like to just leave it like that. And we're going to find a good width for this. I also like to zoom in. So we're zooming in for this one. You can also just work on one eye and then line it and everything and then duplicate it, but I didn't think of that. I might end up doing that, but for now, let's work on this one eye right here. So like we know that the Apple Pencil is pressure sensitive, so you can play around with that. I tend not to. And that's just because my hand isn't that stable when it comes to it, which is okay. So that's just a rough inking outline that I did. Doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, so like I said, I don't really play with the width of the lines with the initial stroke at least. I like to go back in and work it, make it thicker. Okay, so like I said, we are going to now do the same thing with the sketch and just duplicate it because I'm trying to save time here. So there we go. That is how we ink. So okay, so we've sketched, we've inked. I've showed you how to work with layers a bit and a little bit of the selection tool and how the move tool works, which to go a little bit more in depth with the move tool. If you don't select, the move tool will work obviously on the layer that you're on. So if the layer is not selected, and let's say we have both of these layers, and let's say I do this, because I want to move everything, line art and sketch, move is only going to move the layer that is selected. So what you're going to have to do before selecting is you're going to have to go to your layers and then do this thing where you select your main layer and then you go here to the other layer, and you have to do this for all the layers that you have and that you want to be affected by move or liquefy. You're gonna have to go here and kind of like just do that. So your main layer is this lighter blue, and then your second layer is going to be this darker blue. That now means that if you go in and select something, like let's just say I want to select that. Why would I want to do that? I don't know. But now when you go and move, it will move everything. So everything that you selected. See? Okay. So having said that, let's say that we are happy with this sketch, and I'm going to add a layer below the ink so we can start coloring. So what's cool about Procreate, and I'm sure other programs have this as well, is what you saw earlier on when you do the select, you can also do color fill. So color fill, what color fill does is, let's go with this color. What color fill does is it will automatically fill in the color for you in whatever you select, like it did right there. So I like to use that with freehand, and this is when it gets crazy when it comes to layers. This is what I do with my digital line art drawings. So if that is something that you want to emulate, duplicate, whatever the word is, pay attention here. So we're going to add another layer right there. And now what we're going to do, which isn't really necessary for this one as much, but we're still going to do it. We're going to tap on the new layer, and we're going to go with clipping mask. Clipping mask is really cool because you're able to just color wherever you want, and it won't show up unless it's on unless it's on an area that's already colored on the layer below. I hope that makes sense. Which actually, looking at this, it is too dark. So here are the adjustments now that we're gonna try to adjust this color. So this base color is too dark for my liking. So we're gonna go over here to the adjustments, which is the magic wand, and we're gonna go to hue, saturation, brightness. It's the first one. So what you want to do is go to layer. Pencil gives you the ability to kind of like draw in something. I don't know how to use that yet. Sorry if you really wanted to know what that means. I just go to layer and it just does the whole thing. I don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to go down here to brightness and just make it a little bit brighter. And let's see, maybe a tad bit less saturated. There. Okay. So like I said, we are over here on our layer, on our new layer. If you want, you can label them. To label them, you just click on the layer and up here you put rename, and you freaking rename it to whatever you want. So what I like to do now is I use the selection tool and I go to freehand, make sure that color fill is on, and on our new layer, we're gonna click the N and go all the way to multiply. Multiply darkens a color that you're laying based on the color that's below it, something like that. So, okay. So now we're gonna render the skin. So this is the cool part, I think. So we're gonna go here and just outline creases of the skin like that, and look at that. It is darker, I know that, but we will fix it once I play with the layer opacity. But yeah, I'm just gonna go in and work that through, maybe. All right, so now we're going to play with the opacity, and the shadows should not be that dark. So I like to go pretty low, and then we're going to do another layer and the same thing. Now this is going to be another clipping mask, and we're going to go into multiply, and we're going to add more shadows, more rendering. And with autofill selected, this becomes so much easier and so much faster. And I find that my style changes depending on the kind of methods I use to render my drawings. Okay, so once we are set with that, I now also lower the opacity. And the last one was like 40. I'm going to go with around 55 for this one. And we're going to also now play with the eye color. So I like to go off of blue and choose somewhere around there, or the white of the eye. I never really use white for the white of the eye. I don't know why. There it is. And we are going to go with a green eye. All right, cool. So now we've got that set. Let's add eyebrow hair. So, oh, forgot to make this a clipping mask. It doesn't really make a difference for this drawing to make the clipping mask, but I always do anyway. So yes, we're going to make round eyebrows. So here I kind of screwed myself up a little for not fully inking the eyebrow, but I can work with it. But right there. Everything on this drawing is going to have various layers to them. So to it here, let me just fix this here. Okay. And I guess we can add the pink of the tear duct as well, huh? Maybe a little bit more pink, a little brighter. Oh, you know what? Let's just use that as a shadow. Something like that. Okay. So that's our drawing so far. And I don't think it's looking half bad, to be honest with you. Okay, so from there, I'm just gonna go add more shadow, more highlights, and just meet you guys once I am close to finished. Okay, so I was gonna time lapse everything, and then I realized that for eyebrows and for highlights, I use another layer blending thing. Let me see. Let me first try and what do we call it? Figure out where the highlights are. So I like to pick the same color of the base color for the skin, or the base color for whatever it is that you're adding highlights to, and then just begin the shape for the highlights. So this one does this a little, and it's an autofill, so it already autofilled, but you can't see it because it's the same exact color. So I go to screen and then lower the opacity as well. It's the same thing as that I do with the shadows, just for this one it does it. So sometimes I use that, or I use which one is it? Overlay at full opacity. But I think, let me go through all of them. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think screen is the best for me. I'm sure there's there's probably a better way, but I just use screen and bring down the opacity depending on, the strength of the highlight. So I'm going to do that for the rest of the face, playing with the shadows and highlights. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I am done with this simple little illustration. It's just, hopefully you guys get the gist, and Dragmire, I hope it helped. I don't know if it will. I'm so sorry if it doesn't. This is just how I use Procreate, and that's it. Oh, except for we go to the line art layer, and we're gonna do alpha lock. Alpha lock allows you to only draw. It's kind of like clip mask, but it allows you to only draw on what's drawn already and nothing more. So it keeps transparent pixels transparent. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the skin color, and now we're just going to go dark. Not too dark. Darker than the darkest shade for the skin. And now I'm going to colorize the line art. And for this one, since his hair is brown, I'm just going to go ahead and get the eyelashes. Notice I'm not going into the eye yet, because the eye is going to be green. And I feel like this softens the drawing a little. So yeah, maybe we're going to go darker for the eyebrows. Let's see. Yeah, a little darker, just so they're not fully black. And you know what? Why not? Let's do the eyelashes. For that, though, I should be using the round brush under the painting brushes. It's just easier like that. And we will have to go in and just get more detailed in here. Same goes with this one. Okay, and now let's do the eye. I don't know if you can see that. I apologize if me zooming in does something for you. Easier for me. I try not to do this when I am making a video, but we're almost done anyway, so why not? All right, cool. So we're almost done, because now I want to use something else for the skin. which we will bring down below the eyes, below the highlights. Okay. So what I like to do in these sort of drawings is I like to add color. I like to add blood into the mix. Not actual blood, but blood, you know? Give them a little bit of blood flow, if you will. So we're gonna go to the airbrush, soft brush, and we're just gonna give a few little sprays here and there. Not too much. Okay, and then let's play around with the dark modes. I think I like multiply, but I also don't want it to be too dark, like that. And then here's another one. Wait, I either leave it at a higher opacity right there. Now let's go in and give the eye a couple things here, a couple things there. And now what I like to do is we're going to go back to the adjustments tab and we're going to use Gaussian blur on that layer and just slide it to the point where I feel it looks okay. I like that. So I'm gonna bring it. The red is just meant to be very much a subtle thing. It's not meant to be overwhelming. Well, it depends on the drawing, but I use it for giving the skin some sort of blood flow and just make it look a little bit more alive. I could also like probably use some here in his eyes, in this part of his eyes right there, something like that. Yeah, and then you play around with effects. You could flatten it, add noise, sharpen, bloom. I don't use any of that, so that's pretty much it. So let's pretend this is a drawing that you would like to have a speed paint video of. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go up here to the actions menu and you're gonna go to video right there. So you could watch the time-lapse replay, which you'll see here was playing around with the brush just before we started drawing, but it will show you your entire drawing step by step at a very fast pace. So we're done with that. And you could do export time-lapse video. And then when you do that, it gives you the option of being full length or just it compresses everything down to 30 seconds. So I like to go full length, and because I find that that's already really fast, because you could be working on a drawing for days, weeks, and Procreate will show it to you at full length for in 5 or 10 minutes. It records the strokes. It doesn't record necessarily the time it takes you to draw. So keep that in mind. So yeah, that's it. Oh, canvas resize. Let's say, because this is a special shape, it doesn't take much of the canvas. And let's just say that I want the canvas to be the shape of the drawing. So we're going to go over here to the wrench or actions menu, and we're going to go to canvas, crop and resize. So here you're just going to slide these things to like your desired shape, like that, or you could make it bigger, which I don't know why you would want to make it bigger for a drawing this small, but you can. So let's say that I wanted that. I'm sure that I could probably spend more time trying to figure out how to properly do it, like center it, but actually, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. I hope you get the gist. If you're watching this video and there's something that you want to know and that I didn't cover, I'm pretty sure there is a lot that I didn't cover. Let me know in the comments down below, and I will try and answer it in a second video. Also, if you've seen some of my drawings and you'd like to see a tutorial on how to make a drawing like the one that you've seen, let me know, and maybe I'll also do a tutorial on how to draw like me, I guess. So Dragmire, I hope this helps. I'm not a good teacher. I told you I'm not a good teacher, so I don't know if this necessarily helps you or not, but I hope it does, and I hope you enjoy learning how to use Procreate, because it's one of my favorite programs ever. And yeah, so Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.